buongiorno, buona dia, hola. How do you say it in French? How do you say it in French?
Bonjour.
Bonjour. I've already
Bonjour.
said bonjour.
Bonjour.
Have I said bonjour?
Yes, Sally and Ian, it's lovely to have you with us as people are logging on to join us on this beautiful morning.
Bonjour. Yeah, we're going through all the languages.
Yes.
Buona dia.
Bonsoir? No, that's goodbye, isn't it?
No.
That's good night. Bonsoir is good night.
Hello.
Bonjour, yes.
In Eastern European.
We are in
Hello.
French today. How are you all?
How's it going, lovely people? Are you good? Do you needed huggies this morning? Yes. I'm giving out free hugs virtually today.
Free hugs at the TOJO Coffee Morning
Yes,
today.
free hugs. Oh, I could actually do with like a hug today.
Could you? Oh, come on, it's okay. There we go. Just.
Thank you.
What's that? Okay.
I'm in the I want a hug day today.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's very warm this morning. We are baking in our flat here on Margate Seafront because we shut the windows to make sure that you don't have any background noise. So we're we're in this sauna at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets a little bit roasty, a little bit toasty in here. Especially once we pop on these, you've got some like studio lights which just
it's like you get a tan.
light the thing up a little bit. So
We're just going to give a few moments for people to come on board and log on. And I tell you what I'm really missing this morning. I'm really missing my chiropractor because I could really do with a crack in my back. I'm so stiff on the right hand side.
I can do that for you.
No. So
I can do that.
My chiropractor, I see them once a week. Beck and Dave, if you are going to watch this, they get hold of my neck and crack it, and then all the wrestling moves on my back, and I really need that today.
Oh man, I'll give it a go later. I'll get in there. I can do that. I reckon I can do that. We could do that live.
No, let's not do a
live back cracking ceremony.
No.
Rachel, it's good to have you this morning.
Yes, Maria, I've seen. Yeah.
Maria.
Gay, get Tom to walk down your spine.
Oh yeah, I could do that. I could do that in my high heels. Apparently
No,
that's what
we're
does
just
the
not
job.
going to go there. Maria's got a coffee in the garden. That's
Oh, how
lovely.
nice.
I bet all the sheep's still there, all the bar lambs. Yes, welcome Sandy. Come on in. People were just, I think, just awakening from their bed after their VE Day celebrations yesterday. Did anyone celebrate VE Day? I saw loads of barbecues going on in the garden.
How did it go for you? Did you sing "We'll Meet Again"?
Oh, last night, wasn't it?
That was
Although
fantastic.
we were expecting to actually see.
I thought Vera Lynn was going to. One of the news agencies said that Vera Lynn was going to appear and was going to lead the nation in singing. And,
Well, she did, but it was Vera Lynn
an old bit of film footage.
60 odd years ago.
I thought she was actually going to sing. Never mind, it was good anyway.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. It was quite moving, wasn't it? With all those stories that were coming on from people who were. The kids that had to be evacuated and sent off and not seeing their parents. It was actually quite, my heart was really going out to them. So yeah, VE Day celebrations, I saw loads of barbecues going on. I had a little bit of barbecue envy yesterday. I could have done with one of them chicken drumsticks, on a barbecue with some barbecue sauce and that kind of stuff. But we had salmon and jacket potatoes instead because we are on a shred for summer. Yes.
And we're being good. How's it going for you? Those of you who are shredding, who are
I'm hungry.
Dieting for summer, who are getting in bath, how's it going?
I'm just so hungry. Send help. So yes, I was saying I was missing my chiropractor. What are you missing? Tom's missing his hairdresser.
Oh my gosh. Right, my hair now is getting so epic. If I don't put anything on it, it ends up looking like it ages me by 10 years. If I put something on it, I end up looking like something like a cyberpunk kind of thing going on. And so we're looking into clippers to try and buy some clippers so Joe can cut my hair. But the problem is clippers. The prices have doubled on all the decent clippers. We haven't a clue what sort of clippers to get, and we need help, folks. We need hope. How do you?
Could you tell us what clippers we need?
What clippers do we get? I need something that goes from about a 1 to about a 10, I guess.
Yeah, so yeah.
I don't want to end up with a buzz cut. I look terrible with a skinhead.
Yes, so we're missing chiropractors and hairdressers at the moment. Well, what are you missing? Are you missing having your nails done? Are you missing your nail salon? No. Are you missing your nail salon? Yes, Sandy's missing her hairdresser too. Man.
Yeah.
And I think it's just I think it's just chiropractor for me that I miss right now.
Yeah, so you girls can let the long hair thing go. Us guys, it's a bit different. I thought of going for a man bun.
Okay, so Gay did Keith's hair with the Babyliss thing. And Gay, has that got like a number 8 or number 9 on it? Could you let us get shears? Yes, we could do that.
Shear garden shears would work.
Can you get beard trimmers?
Yes,
so expensive.
I've got a beard trimmer. But it only goes. It's a stubble trimmer, and so unless I wanted stubble, and I'll be looking like the Vin Diesel after a bad night out, I don't think it's going to work.
No, we're not going to go for the skinhead approach. Definitely not. Well, welcome all those who are on board. Goes up to a number 5 only. I don't think he's going to look very good with a number 5.
5 is about 10 mil, I think. 10 mil is good. No,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Although, right, here's a story for you. When I lost all my hair a couple of years ago through chemo, he said that he would shave his hair off in sympathy for me. Right, so he did my hair in the kitchen. He buzz cutted me and then did it with a bic. Just because obviously my hair was falling out all over the place. And he's like, don't worry, I'll shave my hair in sympathy for you. Did he shave his hair in sympathy? Nope, he grew it.
Well, it just seemed
but I tell you who did shave their hair in sympathy, which is Phil Downs, which has just come on my feed here. Phil, you shaved your hair at the same time as me. And so he owes me, to be honest, he owes me a scalp cut.
Okay, no, I'm not going to go for a scalp cut now. No.
But there we go. That was just a little story for you.
No, with the lights here, it would bounce off my head. It wouldn't look good.
So, how's your heads this morning, people, after VE Day? What a lovely celebration that was. We saw that last night on BBC. 75 years of VE Day.
And we went out the day before yesterday, actually, as it was VE Day. We went out we've been going out for a run or a cycle or something like that. Wow. And we went out for a bike ride, and we went across to Manston and went to the Spitfire Museum. And of course, it's all closed up, but they've still got planes outside. They've got an old Jaguar aeroplane, a Jaguar jet.
Chopper?
And helicopter. I think it's an old Sea King out there. And I remember as a kid making an Airfix Jaguar, and it's fantastic just to see that there. And then, peered through the window and saw the Hurricane that's now enclosed. It wasn't when I was a kid, but now enclosed. Yeah. And the Doodlebug bomb coming over. So we went and we paid our respects.
We did.
There.
It was lovely. Lovely. So I saw some of you doing some street parties in social distancing, which was awesome. We still know how to celebrate as a nation, don't we? Even though we were on lockdown. And it'd be interesting to see what Uncle Boris says tomorrow as well. Yeah. As to what's going to happen with us.
We have heard that it's quite likely that Britain will follow Europe, and particularly what the outline that's been laid out by Ireland. And so it's looking likely that it's going to be a 5-stage approach here, in which case we found that gyms are number 5. So it could not... most likely gyms aren't going to open until October.
Oh my god.
And hairdressers are in category number 4. Okay. So that would be like September. So if you're thinking about doing something radical with your hair, now's the time to do.
Oh my. Phase 5. So people, we're going to be on Coffee Morning until probably about October time, if you're okay with that.
It looks like that, doesn't it? So the buzz cut is in. And
amazing, absolutely amazing. So Maria saw the Spitfires going over yesterday. It was going over Halton Kirby towards Maidstone. I saw that over London as well. The Spitfires, they did all their different colour, trails, didn't they? They look really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really lovely. And when you saw... Sorry.
Dave Loveday here, he's just saying he heard doodlebugs going over when he was a child.
Oh, wow, that must have been horrific.
Man.
Goodness me. I can't imagine it. Can't imagine it. But we're so glad you're here with us today, David. Hope you and Pat are doing really well. Next bit of epicness news.
Oh, I like this. This is Andy Serkis. If you remember The Lord of the Rings, Andy Serkis was the chappie who played Gollum, Smeagol, my precious. And he was reading yesterday, I think he's still going, I don't know, but he was reading the entire of the book The Hobbit. And he was reading it live, and it was hysterical to watch. And it's on his YouTube channel. And you can watch it and rewind it and start again from wherever you want. But it's quite funny because as he goes through, he can't resist throwing in his own Serkisisms and commenting on it. And then he gets a tickle in his throat, and then he can't clear his throat, and then he needs a wee, and it's just very, very funny.
So that's on Andy Serkis. That's Serkis. If you've got kids that like Lord of the Rings and you want someone to do a bednight story, then log on to his YouTube and he'll read the whole of the Lord of the Rings.
And he actually doesn't look like Gollum.
It doesn't look anything like
Remarkably.
Gollum.
Yeah.
Smeagol.
So what a wonderful thing that was.
It is.
It's lovely seeing people doing stuff like that just to fill the time and...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we need to share what we watched this morning. So
this was brilliant.
we watched a little bit of catch up with this morning Holly and Philip, right? And they were talking about doing yoga laughing, yoga giggling, yoga laugh.
Yoga laughing.
Yoga
it's a
laughing.
thing. Who knew?
So it's a thing, right? There's this yoga laughing. So what you do is you like raise your hands in the air. You take some deep breaths from your belly. You raise your hands in the air.
And then you laugh.
And then you laugh. Like this on the way back down again. And apparently after 2 or 3, it's actually genuine laughter after the fakeness.
So we tried it this morning, and in the name of
I don't
research.
think I'd had enough coffee.
And I don't know what the other residents in our block thought about this, because it actually works. After a while, you start laughing yourself.
Because you're laughing at yourself.
You're laughing at yourself. And we ended up getting quite giggly and quite silly. And so they must have thought, what's happening at 7 o'clock in the morning? Those in 5A are just going crazy.
Oh, I know. So give it a go. Give some yoga laughing a go. Perhaps give it a go while you're on here at the moment. So you're raising your hands up in the air. And then give yourself a bit of a fake laugh. And apparently it turns into normal laughing.
That's right. Oh, the other way you can do it is to grit your teeth. And then you lift your hand.
It sounds like a horse.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. But apparently it switches the side of your brain. So it switches from your left brain... Your left brain?
I don't know, one part of the brain.
Your left side of your brain, which is like your analytical side, which is all your thinking, you're over-analysing, and then it switches to the right side, which doesn't really give a stuff about that stuff, apparently. But it's good to have a giggle. It's good to have a giggle, and they say that laughter is what's actually gotten a nation through this at the moment.
Well, laughter releases all the endorphins, as we know. It makes you feel good, and for a long time afterwards. So laughter really is the best medicine. I remember a little book that my grandmother had, and when I went round there as a kid, I read this book, and it was called Laughter, the Best Medicine. And it was a book that came out in the 50s, and it was about laughter therapy. I thought, what a wonderful thing. I love that.
Do you know the thing that makes me laugh the most is that Peter Kay sketch where there are certain song lyrics that he's been singing all these years and they've been the wrong song lyrics. And I don't know if you've ever watched that.
Your burgers are the best.
Yeah, so in true Peter Kay style, right, he does this for all these years. He's been singing the wrong lyrics to these songs. And they're actually, like, I totally understand, because we all sing the wrong lyrics.
Is it just me, or do you do that as well? We sing the wrong lyrics all the time. I've seen singing the same songs for years, for decades, and then I've realised what the lyrics actually are.
So, talking about laughter is the best medicine. So, let's move on to another bit of good news. Nike have created healthcare worker trainers, and they've donated like 35,000 pairs.
If you're a healthcare worker, have you got a pair yet?
Is that in America though?
No, they've sent a load over to the UK as well.
Yeah, apparently for healthcare workers only.
And they're designed, they've got like a little pulse along the bottom, along the heel, with a little heart in it. And they're particularly designed for, they're scrubbable and, you know, all the usual things which you need to be able to work in hospitals with them. They're anti-slip and so on. But if you've got a pair, would like to see them. Very interesting. Designed them particularly for those who are on their feet all day long. So maybe your shop workers might like to get those as well.
Oh, Janice is back. Where did you go, lovely?
A little bit of product placement there. Nike,
Yes,
if you're
Nike.
watching us, we would like a sponsorship deal, please. Thank you
I've just
very
bought
much.
a pair of Adidas running trainers. So,
Oh, you spoilt it.
I know, I'm really sorry. So another thing that I'd love to tell you about, actually, whilst we've got most of our viewers on at the moment, is I'm offering you a free taster session, online personal training taster session on Zoom. And I've got a couple of my clients on here at the moment, so hopefully they'll testify to this. So what that does is I meet with you one-on-one on Zoom. We discuss what changes you want to happen in your life, in your body, and I start you off on that journey. And we meet one-on-one just for an hour, and I train you, basically. Nothing to be scared of though, it's actually quite a laugh. But if you are interested in one free hour of online session,
She's good.
just let me know. I had a brilliant picture coming from one of my clients yesterday, and we started off back in February, and she took an up-to-date picture of a couple of days ago, and she looks incredible. So it does work.
And how much? What about the other? Is that the same client that lost the stone?
No.
Somebody else has lost a stone. Wonderful.
Yeah, one of my other clients has lost a stone since we started, which is awesome news. If you'd like a free taster, there's nothing to lose. It's free.
Anywhere in the world.
People love free stuff. So perhaps share it, share my post that I've put on there at the moment. Perhaps give me a wave if you're interested. And that would be really awesome. I'd love to be able to do that.
Wonderful. Well, that brings us on to our words of wisdom we've been looking at all this week, which is taken from the good book, and it says, "Arise, O sleeper, and rise from the dead." Now, perhaps this is an apt word for some people who are still sitting in bed with their coffee, not naming names or anything, but perhaps you're there still with your coffee, and actually I may well be there on a lazy Saturday morning as this if it wasn't going to be weird putting a camera in the bedroom. So it's not going to be that sort of show.
We could do it from the bed one morning, couldn't we?
No, we're not going there. No. Awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead. And we've been talking about how trauma has the potential to wake us up, the potential to awaken us. And there's a particular word. Different cultures have different words which they use to recognise that. And in the East, they would talk about awakening, having some sort of spiritual awakening. In Christendom, we talk about having an epiphany, a lights-on moment.
I love that word.
Epiphany.
Epiphany. You can really spray with it, couldn't you?
It's a good word. And in psychology, they talk about pattern interrupts. Anything which jumps the needle, which changes your pattern of thinking, so that you suddenly become aware of things that are out there. And it's been really great since we started talking about that. People have been sending in stories about their epiphanies and their times when they've had these pattern interrupts which have woken them up to a new way of thinking, a new way of doing, a new way of being. And we saw the other day how life lulls us to sleep. And like being in a cinema, do you remember? Like being in a cinema, there's this suspension of reality that happens. We get sucked into the drama. We're no longer somebody watching the drama from the seat in the cinema, but we're now in the drama, and so our heart rate rises and falls according to what's happening. If the people in the film are scared, we're scared. And we saw that, and one of the important discoveries we need to make to enable to stay sane in particularly our society now is to be able to disconnect from that, to
Observe it.
To become the observer of the drama of our life, the observer of the film, instead of becoming a participant in it.
Yeah.
So we can participate when we want, but we just can't. It's not that we're standing aloof, but in our heads, Jo was sitting in bed the other night and she just started laughing, and I said, "What's up?" And she said, "I just realised what was going on in my head." And it was this kind of, I was having a bit of a down feeling, you know, feeling a bit blue. And she caught herself, and so she started observing that blueness, turned it round to observe what was going on. And by becoming the observer, she was no longer caught up in that blue moment. And it was like, what a strange thing.
Yeah, it's true.
I feel low. How odd. And so you observe that, you look at the feeling, examine the emotion. Why is that? And if you've ever suffered from panic attacks, you know, this is how therapy for panic attacks works. It isn't that you stop having the panic attack. It's that when you have the panic attack, you become the observer and you train yourself to look at it with sort of curiosity from the outside. Why is my heart rate's gone up? I'm breathing.
That's like one of the hardest things to train yourself in. So one of the things I used to panic attack about was a couple of things actually. So blue water, couldn't step into blue water at all unless I was holding really tight to Tom's hand.
Blue water is a shopping centre for those who live outside the country. It isn't about swimming.
No, it's a massive shopping centre, and just to be inside there I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to get out. And also aeroplanes. Aeroplanes, as soon as I've stepped into an airport, that was it. I was irrational and panic attacks they'd start. And I actually had CBT for this. And CBT is about, okay, you are going to place yourself in the middle of this, and then you're just going to let it evaporate and lose its power. And I remember we went into Ed's Diner in Bluewater, didn't we? And my counsellor said to me, you are not going to leave that restaurant, and this is bang in the middle of Bluewater. There are no windows. Like, I'm having a sweat on. And she said, you're not going to leave that restaurant until you've had a panic attack, and then the panic attack has come down to 40%. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, I don't know if I can do this. So I sat in the middle of Ed's Diner and I ordered my whatever's I was having, and on it came, and I held onto Tom's hand and I was like, right, you need to help me. I'm not going to give in to this. I'm not going to give in to my drama. So in a way, I had to sit next to myself as well and almost like have compassion on myself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Until I'd heightened, and by the way, on panic attacks, it's just an adrenaline rush. And it can't go to 100%. It only goes to 80%, and then the adrenaline burns out. And that was incredible to actually know. We're going completely off piece from where we were talking about.
Well, no, I think it's all part of it. It's this pattern interrupt.
Yeah.
And by turning around and viewing yourself, becoming the observer, not the participant in the drama. And you can do this if there's an argument going on. You know, the problem with an argument is it creates this drama circle. And perhaps it's happening in your house. And one person, their drama circle gets going and it sucks you in. And before you know it, you're now involved in this. And to become a observer of that, to stand on the edge, you can still be involved. You can still offer information. You can still have active conversation. And this is part of resolving conflict, is to be able to remove yourself from the drama so you can talk rationally about something.
Yeah. So there's this almost when someone, you can change the atmosphere by your emotion, can't you? You change the atmosphere by what's going on in your own head, and you can pick up on that. If you're someone who's quite sensitive, you're like, are you all right today? You're a little bit, and so you can either like match that, or you say, right, I'm actually going to be the one that's going to be able to snap you out of it.
Yeah, I mean, for us, one of the things that happens with us is that Jo laughs. If I'm starting to get a bit I'm just something serious about something. It's like we need to pick a bone over here. You know, we start having and it'll get fun. And I find if I've lost myself in the drama, she'll just burst out laughing. And it snaps me out. It's a pattern interrupt. And suddenly I realise, I've got involved here. I've been caught up in my own drama.
We never have arguments.
No, we just never have arguments because
I can't do it. Even if it starts, I'm like, I can't do it. I'm one of them people that laughs in the most awkward of situations.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
Well, no, this is how it works. It's these pattern interrupts that enable us to step back from the drama and to see what's actually happening here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Participator or observer.
So yeah, this is like going to be the biggest keys, I think, for my life, is actually, this is going to sound really weird, but when you are in that situation, one of the things that you want to be most is understood. So especially if you are having like a panic attack, or you are going through something which is very emotional, and it's creating like this whirlwind of emotion, you want someone to understand you. And you're like, why don't you just understand me? Empathy. And almost, like, especially in the panic attack situation, I was taught to almost hold my own hand and say, you're going to be okay. This is going to be okay. I understand you because I am you. And that is the weirdest bit of psychology, and I don't even understand it myself. But it does work. And so when I feel understood, I'm like, this little thing inside of me which is creating this, I'm going to freak out because I'm in a claustrophobic situation. I'm going to freak out until I get you out of this building. There's another side of you that says, you're actually a lot stronger than this. Don't give in to this. You're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. This is going to subside. And so I found myself, the only person I could really go into blue water with was someone who understood me. That someone who was able to remove the power out of my, I can't even understand it myself. This probably just sounds gobbledygook.
No, I think it's really helpful. People are coming up on the feed here just saying how helpful this is. You see, inside every one of us, there's a little screaming child that has the habdabs every now and again, and it kicks off. And the thing is, when I was first a parent and had Sam, and your first kids are always, you're a problem to your first kids because you don't understand anything about parenting. And I remember putting Sam down in the cot and trying to get him to go to sleep. And the more he wouldn't go to sleep, the more agitated I became. And so I'd say, will you go to sleep? Don't you realise I need to go to work tomorrow? You need to go to sleep. And of course, the more aggravated I got, the more upset he got. And the more upset he got, the more problems. There was this vicious, it was a drama circle that was going on. But inside us, there's that little child. And when we get angry with ourselves, so like, I can't believe I'm having a panic attack. I can't believe I can't do this.
Makes it worse.
All we're doing, imagine if you were to do that to your child. Imagine if your child was having an upset moment and you went in guns blazing. Now it may make you feel better, but that child's going to get more out of its pram than less out of its pram. And if our intention is to solve the situation, we have to come down with compassion. So with ourselves, it's exactly the same. To not show yourself compassion showing compassion to yourself is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom.
Yeah.
Because it's a sign that you understand that within you is a little child that needs to be led through by the hand gently to understand what's going on and to be brought back to peace. And it doesn't help if you get involved in its drama. You've got to be the parent.
The comforter, that's right. And so this doesn't necessarily, I know we're going on a little bit here today, sorry. This doesn't necessarily mean that you'll never get panic attacks. And Beck here is saying that her little girl has panic attacks as well. It doesn't mean that they'll go away. It means that you have a coping mechanism for them. So when you're in the middle of a panic attack, the only way I can describe it is that you want to escape yourself. Get me out of whatever headspace I've got into. Just get me out of it. This is the most uncomfortable thing. I feel I can't breathe. My eyesight has come in. My heart is racing. I'm sweating. I feel like my throat's closed up, etc., etc. And so to get to the stage where you take the power out of that is, what's the worst that's going to happen? What's the worst that is going to happen on this? And one of my panic attacks also used to be that I was going to throw up in public. And that was ridiculous. And my counsellor said to me, so what would happen if you did throw up in public? And I'm like, well, people would look. So they'd have sympathy on you. And I'd think, oh, oh, I thought people would judge me. And so it was all mixed in, this mixed bag of emotions, of preconceptions that were never going to happen. And then with the aeroplane thing, walking onto an aeroplane, as soon as that door closed, that was it. I could feel the chest were tightening. Oh my gosh, what if I have to get them to open the doors again? I'm going to make a fool of myself, etc., etc., etc. And so the monologue continues. And so...
And so, of course, you can have this one approach to this is, and I know we should be coming to a close here, but one of the approaches to this is to say, well, I'm just going to distract myself. And so instead of dealing with because we don't want to deal with the issue, we distract ourselves like you distract a child. And that's great, except with panic attacks and stuff like that, it just doesn't work, because they come back with a vengeance. And that's a little bit like being in a movie and putting your head in your hands and covering your eyes. Not only does it not solve the problem of your fear, you're not even enjoying the movie anymore.
Yeah.
And so the situation there, and somebody was saying they've got a child who suffers from this sort of thing, is to sit them down and say, describe to me exactly what's happening. Tell me what's happening, because by telling you, they're examining it themselves. They're disassociating themselves from the problem, but still dealing with the problem.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing throughout life, to look at what's happening. C.S. Lewis wrote a book called A Grief Observed when his wife died, and it was that title has stuck with me. The idea that he took that grief, and the way he was healed from it was to observe it instead of being caught up in it, but to observe it with huge compassion upon himself and to nurse himself through that process.
So, and one of the big keys, I'll give you one of the big secrets here for panic attacks that I use now, and it's the breathing that I use in meditation. So the way I used to do it was I used to get myself into a state of panic attack in my head. In a safe environment, I would go there. In a safe environment, in my mind, I would put myself on the plane. In a safe environment, I would put myself in the middle of a restaurant, bang in the middle of a blue water, and let the feelings arise. And then what I would do is I would breathe myself through it as though I was in that environment. Because the reason why everything goes a little bit skew-iff is that you stop breathing. And when you stop breathing, everything loses its perspective. Everything loses the reality. Because you've got no oxygen in your brain. And so I started to slow the breathing down, meditative breathing. And on the in-breath, I would create a sentence. On the out-breath, I'd create another sentence in which my brain was able to hook onto something, because your brain always wants to latch onto something because it is a child. And so it was through breathing, and it was through actually putting myself in that situation and meditating my way out of it, that when I got into the real life panic attack, so for example, travelling to South Africa for 11.5 hours, stuck at the back of a plane, right at the top of a double decker, like I was able to breathe my way through and eventually actually start to enjoy the ride. So I'll give you one of that for a bit of wisdom this morning on panic attacks. And I'm so sorry, we've gone 3 minutes over, but this,
that's been fun.
We don't have any bosses, so...
It's been really nice just sitting on the couch again and chatting with you guys. We hope you have a fantastic day. Yeah. Somebody just asked on there, they said, do we have the same colour eyes? That's interesting, because Joe's got brown eyes and I have blue eyes most of the time. Yeah. But my eyes change colour. And that's another subject.
He does. He has mood eyes.
Yeah.
Right, my lovely. Yes. Oh yeah, it's Bible study this morning. Oh, I forgot that. Okay, thank you very much for reminding me. We shall see you on Monday morning, and we'll know more about what Uncle Boris says. Sending you loads and loads of love. Any questions on what we've spoke about this morning, just send us a private message. We love you.
God bless. Have a wonderful day.